That's when she said Rebecca had been diagnosed with something terminal. My blood went cold. Terminal? What does she have? Diane shrugged. She wouldn't say. Just that Rebecca needed to experience a mother's love before she died. That you'd had decades, but Rebecca only had months, maybe weeks. I felt sick. So she's dying and wants my mom to herself? Diane shook her head. I don't think she's dying. I think she's lying, but your mother believes her completely. We drove to my cousin Lisa's house. She was a nurse at the hospital where Rebecca supposedly got treated. Pull her medical records. They moved the laptop closer. Lisa's fingers moved across the keyboard, while we sat in her kitchen watching the screen load. The hospital database took forever to pull up Rebecca's file. When it finally appeared, Lisa's face changed. She scrolled through page after page of nothing. No cancer treatments, no chemotherapy records, no oncology appointments. The only visits listed were from 2 years ago for a sprained wrist and last March for the flu. Lisa printed everything she could access without breaking privacy laws and handed me a stack of papers showing Rebecca's complete medical history at their hospital. Every page proved she wasn't dying. We drove back to Diane's house after midnight with the evidence sitting on my lap like it weighed 100 pounds. Tom was still there waiting for us, and when we showed him the printouts, he got so angry he punched the wall. Diane made coffee none of us drank while we sat at her kitchen table trying to figure out what to do next. Tom suggested hiring someone to dig into Rebecca's past, because if she was lying about being terminal, she was probably lying about other things too. Diane knew a private investigator from her work at the courthouse named Dylan Paget who handled fraud cases. She called him right then, even though it was almost 1 a.m, and he answered on the 3rd ring. Diane explained the situation while Tom and I listened to her half of the conversation. Dylan agreed to meet us the next day and said he'd start looking into Rebecca's background immediately. None of us could sleep, so we stayed up making lists of everything suspicious about Rebecca and her story. The terminal illness that changed depending on who she talked to. The way she isolated my mother from anyone who questioned her. How quickly everything happened after my mother married Howard. By the time the sun came up, we had 3 pages of red flags that should have been obvious from the start. Diane called Abigail Lockwood at 9 a.m. Abigail was a family lawyer who handled elder manipulation cases and had helped Diane's friend last year when her father changed his will under suspicious circumstances. Abigail agreed to review everything we'd gathered and meet with us that afternoon. We showed up at her office with the hospital records, the timeline of events, and our list of concerns about Rebecca's behavior. Abigail spent 2 hours going through every document